Welcome to Evil Unmasked, where the shadows of history reveal their darkest secrets. I'm your host, Sierra Elizabeth. As a criminal justice and criminology graduate, I've always been drawn to the mysteries that lurk beneath the surface of everyday life. This podcast is dedicated to uncovering and discussing the truth behind some of the most chilling and intriguing cases in true crime history. In each episode, we'll deep dive into a different case, exploring the evidence, unraveling the clues, and bringing you the stories of the victims and the relentless pursuit of justice. From infamous serial killers to unsolved mysteries, no case is too complex or too obscure for me to tackle. Today we're diving into one of the most haunting unsolved cases, the disappearance of Tara Calico. On a routine bike ride in 1988, 19-year-old Tara vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and chilling clues. Join me as we unravel the details of her case, exploring the theories and diving into the ongoing search for answers. Stay tuned as we uncover the settling story of Tara Calico. This is Evil Unmasked. Let's begin. Tara Leigh Calico was born on February 28, 1969, to Patty and David Calico in Albuquerque, New Mexico. A gifted student, Tara began taking college classes at the University of New Mexico's Valencia campus during her senior year of high school. After graduating, she worked at Belen's First National Bank for 11 months before deciding to attend college full-time. Her mother, Patty, was a longtime employee of the Santa Fe Railway. She separated from Tara's father, David, in January of 1975. While working in the railway yards, she met a fellow employee named John Dole. The two quickly hit it off and married in June of 1975. John quickly fell in love with Patty's daughter, teeny Tara. Over the years, Tara grew into a responsible, organized, and independent teenager who loved animals. She was the kind of girl you would want to bring home to your mother, described as intelligent and outgoing. Tara had many friends and a bright future ahead of her. New Mexico State Road 47 is a long highway that passes through many counties. Tara often cycled the lower half of the highway, covering roughly 34 miles of rural territory dotted with desert, sagebrush, and the occasional farm. Her mother, Patty, had frequently taken the same route but stopped riding after an unsettling incident earlier in 1988 when she believed a man was following her with his car. Despite Patty's concerns and requests for Tara to avoid the route, Tara didn't feel any danger and continued to cycle along the highway. On September 20th, 1988, Tara Leigh Calico embarked on her daily 36-mile bike ride following the same route she took every day. At 19 years old, Tara was a sophomore and honor student at the University of New Mexico. On that day, she wore a white t-shirt, white shorts with green stripes, white socks, tennis shoes, a couple of gold rings, and gold hoop earrings. She left her home on Brugg Street in Rio Communities around 9:30 a.m., riding her mom's pink Huffy bicycle because hers had a flat tire. Tara told her mom that she would be home in the afternoon as she had a tennis match with her boyfriend at 12:30 p.m. and class at 3:30 p.m. She instructed her mom to pick her up if she wasn't back by then so that she wouldn't be late. With that, she set out on her daily journey, riding along Highway 47. Tara never returned home, prompting her mother, Patty, to start looking for her around 12:05 p.m. Patty drove the entire route Tara would have taken, fearing she might have had an accident. She even called local hospitals, but found no information. After failing to locate her daughter, Patty reported Tara missing around 3 p.m. At the time of Tara's disappearance, her younger sister, Michelle Dole, was only a sophomore in high school. In 2006, Michelle told News Bulletin, quote, "I remember one of my sister's best friends and her boyfriend came to get me from school. They picked me up, and when we got home, there were a bunch of cops there." End quote. She described her house as chaotic, filled with law enforcement, friends, and family. One of Tara's classmates, Melinda Escobar, recalled feeling, quote, "terrified. I think most of us were because it was so shocking that she would go out for a bike ride and not come home." End quote. She also mentioned how Tara's disappearance reminded her of Deborah Lanzel, another young girl who had vanished almost exactly a year before Tara. Lanzel has never been found. At 11:30 a.m., two ranch hands saw Tara biking north towards her home. 15 minutes later, at 11:45 a.m., three men returning from a hunting trip saw Tara biking along the highway with an older pickup truck following closely behind. It appeared that Tara hadn't noticed the truck, as she had headphones on. The next day, on the west side of the highway, just 4 miles from the Rio communities, police found tire tracks that veered off the road and led to a spot about 100 yards away. They discovered a fresh oil slick and a small set of footprints leading to Tara's Boston cassette tape in the front plastic window of her Walkman. On September 24th, the rest of the broken Walkman was found 20 miles away near the entrance of John F. Kennedy Campground. Over 300 searchers looked in the mountains and river by land and air. Nothing else was found. On the day Tara went missing, there was just a 20-minute window between the time witnesses reported seeing her on the road and the time her mother began searching for her. A total of 7 witnesses described seeing Tara on her bike, and 5 of them mentioned a light-colored 1950s Ford truck with a camper shell and New Mexico plates following closely behind her. With the help of eyewitnesses, police and investigators created a sketch of the man driving the truck. He was believed to be in his late 30s or 40s, white or light-skinned, with red or brown hair. The vehicle was never located, and no driver came forward. Police also ruled out any connection to Deborah Lansell, the 29-year-old nurse who had disappeared under similar circumstances a year earlier. On October 25th, Sheriff Romero announced that they believed at least 2 men were involved in Tara's abduction, based on witnesses who claimed to have seen 2 people in a pickup at 11:45 a.m. The suspected driver was described as a white man, 35 to 45 years old, with reddish-brown hair, standing between 5'9" and 6 feet tall, and weighing between 190 and 210 pounds. The truck was identified as an off-white, mid-50s to early 60s Ford pickup with a camper shell, chrome wheels, oversized tires, and New Mexico plates starting with WBY or WBZ and ending with the number 6. Despite over 100 phone tips and 4 interviews, no one was arrested. Patty, Tara's mother, remained determined, ensuring that the investigation into her daughter's disappearance continued to receive the attention over the decades. On June 15, 1989, a woman leaving a convenience store in Port St. Joe, Florida, found a Polaroid on the ground in the parking lot. She had noticed a white Toyota cargo van parked in the spot directly in front of the store's entrance when she had arrived, but by the time she exited, the van was gone, leaving the Polaroid behind. The photograph depicted a teenage girl and a younger boy, both gagged with duct tape and bound at the wrists with their hands behind their back, lying in the back of a van on a sheet with a blue striped pillow. The film company confirmed that the photo was produced in May 1989. Tara's relatives were watching the show, A Current Affair, when the photo aired and immediately noticed that the girl resembled Tara. They promptly contacted Patty. Additionally, another family came forward, believing the boy in the photo was their 10-year-old son, Michael Henley, who had vanished 5 months earlier while camping in the mountains with his father. Both sets of parents traveled to Florida to examine the photograph in person, and each family was convinced that the children depicted were their own. Despite this, the identities of the children in the photo have never been definitively confirmed. The FBI investigated the image but could not conclusively determine whether the girl was Tara. Tragically, Michael Henley's remains were found in the Zuni Mountains in 1990. In 1991, Patty and John Dole became authorized deputies to take an active role in the search for their daughter. This status allowed them to pursue their own leads, conduct independent searches, and utilize the sheriff's office copy machine to print over 80,000 flyers. Throughout the investigation, the Doles remained dissatisfied with the police's handling of the case. Sadly, no significant leads emerged, and Tara was declared deceased by a judge in 1998, with her death officially classified as a homicide. The investigation into her disappearance has spanned across 7 administrations of the Valencia County Sheriff's Office. Sheriffs Lawrence Romero, Anthony Ortega, Juan Julian, Richard Perea, Rene Rivera, Louis Burkhardt, and Dennis Vigil, each bringing their own approach to the case. The case remained largely inactive until September 2008, when Sheriff Rene Rivera revealed to the public that they had uncovered details about what happened to Tara Calico 19 years earlier. According to Rivera, 4 boys accidentally struck Tara with their pickup truck while she was biking. In a panic, they threw her bicycle into the truck and transported her to a gravel pit. Despite this revelation, the police were unable to locate a body, which prevented them from pressing charges. In 2009, the photo recirculated, leading to a new twist in the case. Police Chief David Barnes of Port St. Joe, Florida, received 2 unsettling photos in the mail. One was an original image of a sandy-haired young boy, and the other had black marker scribbled over the boy's mouth to mimic tape. The first photo was postmarked June 10th, and the second on August 10th, both sent from Albuquerque with no return address. On August 12th, the Port St. Joe newspaper received another letter featuring the same boy, again with markers scribbled over his mouth. The identity of this boy remains unknown, and it is unclear whether he is the same child depicted in the 1989 Polaroid. In 2013, the Sheriff's Office reopened the case and formed a 6-person task force to reinvestigate the matter. This team included agents from Federal Homeland Security Investigations, the New Mexico State Police Department, the Valencia County Sheriff's Office, the Albuquerque Police Department, and the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. Quote, "We felt that we should take a good close look at all of the evidence that's been gathered over the years, and hopefully we'll come up with something that will assist us," said former Valencia County Sheriff Louis Burkhardt. "I don't think there's anything that's come about just recently in regards to this case, but we are going to look at everything that is there. We don't know if she is alive, but that's certainly a possibility." End quote. The task force offered a $10,000 reward to anyone who could provide information about where Tara was. The FBI offered an additional $20,000 reward for details involving Tara's disappearance that led to an arrest and conviction. In November 2022, Tara's biological father was attacked by 2 men while walking home from a bar in Albuquerque. They stole his wallet, 2 rings, and his heart medication. He returned home, went to sleep, and tragically died of a major heart attack during the night. In 2003, Patty and John Dole had relocated to Port Charlotte, Florida, where they kept a dedicated bedroom for Tara and continued to bring her gifts on holidays and birthdays. Patty suffered a series of strokes, which ultimately led to her death on May 11, 2006. Over the years, the investigation has explored various directions and pursued numerous leads. At one point, attention briefly shifted to David Parker Ray, the notorious toy box killer. Ray's family owned a ranch not far from where Tara disappeared, and he even resembled the sketch of the man seen driving the truck on the day she went missing. The FBI investigated this lead, but ultimately ruled out Ray as a suspect. The quest for the truth behind Tara's disappearance has never waned. Melinda Escobil, a classmate of Tara's, launched a podcast called Vanished, with the goal of assisting law enforcement in gathering new information about the case. Her efforts proved successful. The podcast reignited public interest in the case and led to a surge in tips and renewed discussions. In her podcast, Melinda questions the effectiveness and commitment of the investigators at the time. Numerous theories about Tara's disappearance implicated Sheriff Lawrence Romero's son, Lawrence Romero Jr., leading some in the community to suspect corruption and a potential cover-up. However, the investigator handling the case, Florence, firmly denied these allegations, stating, "There was no cover-up. As long as I was involved in the case, there was never going to be a cover-up. We're talking about a young lady with a caring family. No, there was no cover-up. Just a lot of rumors." On June 6, 2023, the Valencia County Sheriff's Office announced significant progress in the case. Quote, "Law enforcement believes they have identified the individuals involved in Tara Calico's disappearance and are working to charge and arrest them. New evidence was uncovered through investigative efforts from October 2020 to the present," Rowland told The Sun. The district attorney's office has assigned a team of prosecutors to review the case. Given its age and complexity, legal experts are being briefed on 34 years of investigative work. To maintain the integrity of the investigation, the names of potential persons of interest have been sealed by the court. John, Patty's stepfather, sadly passed away in 2023. However, her siblings continue to hold out hope for answers regarding their sister's disappearance. No additional information has been released about the case at this time, but I will ensure to cover any updates in future episodes. Thank you for tuning in to this chilling episode of Evil Unmasked. Today we dove into the sad story of Tara Calico. If you found this episode compelling, be sure to subscribe and leave a review to help others discover my podcast. For more updates and behind-the-scenes content, follow me on Instagram at evil.unmasked or on X at evil_unmasked. If you have any case suggestions or stories you would like to hear, please visit me at evilunmasked.com.